Here. All right, welcome to the adjourned meeting, July 23rd, 2024. Let's have our call to order. What's that? Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you. Yeah.
You want to start with
Oh, we're going to pledge?
start with
Yeah,
Pledge of Allegiance and then roll call?
yeah, that's a great. So we normally start with the commission does the Pledge of Allegiance. It's usually led by Commissioner Andrew Flynn because he has a bellowing voice. But would you all like to lead us in the pledge today? All right, great. Ready? All right, let's go. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Beautiful. Thank you. Now we'll do the call.
Yes. All right. So, all right. Roll call: Commissioner Flynn,
Present.
Commissioner Silverman,
Here.
Commissioner Siegler,
Here.
Commissioner Grella,
Here.
and Commission President Ann Swager Wilson is attending virtually. I see.
Yes, I'm here.
Manager McGill is also attending virtually tonight.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. So before we jump into the agenda items today, I think we're going to do yes, perfect, thank you. All right, so we are pleased tonight to welcome Girl Scout Troop 57074 to our meeting. I'd like to introduce you all to leaders Lori Haller, Ellen Lyons, and Jennifer Conway, and they've brought Girl Scouts Nora Conway, Felicity DeGennaro, Olivia Kervin, Lizzie Gogol, hi, Olivia Jackson, Charlotte Haller, and Olive Bennett. We're all here, good. In the Girl Scouts, a journey is a series of badges, and this group of young ladies had a fun set of activities for a particular journey. They went camping, where they learned to set up tents and put together an outdoor kitchen. Then they learned how to prepare a meal and sleep outside. They learned about habitats and went on a nature walk, but the final step in their journey was to take action to make the world a better place. The Scouts voted and decided they wanted to get additional recycling bins in our parks. The Scouts put their feelings into words, and we found their letters to be cogent and well constructed. And we got quite a few letters. Thank you all. We communicated their wishes to the Mount Lebanon Public Works Department, who then ordered 7 more recycling bins to be added to those already in our parks. You'll find the extra bins located in shelters, around the ball fields, and in concession areas. And anyone who goes to those areas will appreciate the extra bins. We invited the Scouts here tonight to hold them up as an example of what we'd like all our citizens, especially our young people, to do: to observe the world around them, to think critically about what they see, and to call for change where it might help. Thank you all to the members and leaders of Girl Scout Troop 57074 for helping to make Mount Lebanon a better place for all of us. So we have a commendation here, which I'll sign. And we'll get perfect. Thank you. Here, give this to you all. Well, I should have read it, right? Yes. Yeah. Great. I don't know how long you can hear, so I'll just step up here to this. Okay. All right. So commendation for Girl Scout Troop 57074. Whereas Girl Scout Troop 57074 has served the municipality of Mount Lebanon by enriching the lives of girls, and there's a lot of whereases here, girls. Whereas part of one of its journeys, the Scouts learned how to set up tents and outdoor kitchen and subsequently sleep outdoors and cook an entire meal outdoors. And whereas the troop also learned about animal habitats and took a nature walk, and whereas the troop voted to ask the municipality to install more recycling containers in Mount Lebanon parks, and whereas the troop's well-written appeal resulted in the addition of 7 more recycling bins in municipal parks, including near shelters, ball fields, and concession stands, and whereas Mount Lebanon wishes to encourage all its residents to observe the world around them, think critically, and seek change where it's due. Now, therefore, Mount Lebanon Commission, by virtue of its authority vested in its entity by the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, do hereby commend and thank Girl Scout Troop 57074 for its service to the residents of Mount Lebanon. Among those, we would like to thank the Girl Scouts, are Nora Conway, Felicity DeGennaro, Olivia Curvin, Lizzie Gogol, Olivia Jackson, Charlotte Haller, and Olive Bennett, and troop leaders Lori Haller, Ellen Lyons, and Jennifer Conway, proclaimed this 23rd day of July, 2024. Thank you. Adorable. Thank you.
In other community highlights, Mount Lebanon is entering the second phase of our Uptown revitalization with a project we're calling Activate Uptown. As we plan to make Uptown the kind of place you'll want to visit, and for a good long time, we want to know your thoughts. Please take the Activate Uptown survey before the end of August. The link is available on our website on the homepage at mountlebanon.org. We've received more than 800 responses already, but the more feedback we get, the better the project will be. And finally, have fun and learn more about the Mount Lebanon Fire Department at the Citizens Fire Academy, September 11th through November 8th. Most classes are on Wednesdays at the Public Safety Center, 555 Washington Road, but a special Saturday session will take participants to the Washington County Fire Academy. Registration is open to Mount Lebanon residents and business owners. Classes include such topics as fire science, fire hose and water streams, forcible entry, search, thermal imaging, ladders, auto extraction, and fire prevention. For more information or to apply, go to mountlebanon.org/fire.
And it is an absolute ball. Gotta do it.
Voice of experience.
Yes, hands up, I did it. I loved it so much. I volunteered.
There you go. There you go. Good, thank you.
Well, we did the community highlights. I think we skipped over manager's
We
announcements.
did. Manager McGill is here virtually.
Perfect.
Thank you. So tonight in discussion session, we received an update on the indoor tennis center season regarding programs and operations. We also received some information on the filtration system at the swim center. We heard about some, I'll say, recent short-term efforts by Director Donnellan that have improved the water clarity issue that we were experiencing. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that holds for the rest of the season. And we will have him come back at a future meeting to talk about the, I'll say, long-term recommendations related to filter replacement. We will also hear at a future meeting an update on the status of the ice rink compressor repair and possible future replacements there. We did hear a review of the bids that were received for the Public Safety Center roof. That item is on our agenda tonight for a vote. And unfortunately, we did not have time for updates on the activities of various boards from their commission liaisons, but we will do that at the next meeting. Prior to that meeting, we met in executive session to receive some legal advice from our solicitor, as well as a consultant that we brought in to do some additional work for the municipality. The next meeting of the commission will be held on Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. That meeting will begin at 8 p.m. in this room. And if the public is interested in participating, you can do that by either showing up in person at the meeting. You don't need to pre-register. Simply show up at the appropriate meeting time and sign the sign-in sheet at the back of the room if you wish to speak, or remotely via the Zoom webinar format. Again, you don't need to pre-register. Simply click the link located on the meeting agenda on the municipal website. If you wish to speak during citizens' comments or during a public hearing, simply use the raised hand feature on Zoom and you'll be notified when it is your turn to speak. That is all I have, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you very much. Let's see. Okay, on to citizens' comments. So there's one person on here at the top. They crossed their name out, though. It looks like Paul, is it Paul Good or Paul Goody? They're not here either way. Okay. Next person on the list, Colonel Hoon.
Bill Hoon, 456 Coolidge Avenue. The last meeting, Mr. Flynn stated that there can only be 6 deer per square mile, as I recall. Is that not correct, or?
I assume that's probably correct. I believe that was
okay.
the number given.
Our arborist let us know that that would be the healthy population.
Who, I'm sorry, my
The
hearing
arborist.
aid died and I,
An arborist that was consulting for the municipality told us that 6 deer per square mile was a healthy population.
okay, consult said that.
Yeah.
Okay, in 2006, we had the U.S. Department of Agriculture kill team come in here. And Craig B. Swoopy, standing right where I'm standing now, said that the number of deer that would be acceptable in Mount Lebanon was 15. Now, we've also had another group in between that said 10. So these numbers go up and down.
But they're definitely lower than where we are.
Right, which is closer to 80, I believe.
What's that?
It's definitely lower, than their numbers that they're providing are significantly lower than where we are.
We're at 60 or 80 per square mile.
80 at this point.
Yeah, I can't recall.
That's interesting because we had two actual aerial counts. And the first one, this was without the deer being molested by killing actions. The first one was 225 deer, total population in Mount Lebanon. The second one was 200. And actually, the commission was rather upset at the second count because they expected ongoing growth of the population, and they weren't seeing that. Actually, Kristen Linfonte was commissioner at that time, and she was sitting right where the solicitor is. And when she heard it was down to 200 versus 225 the year before, she said, "Oh, that can't be right. We're going to disregard that." And that's pretty much the way this works. The numbers are flexible depending on what you folks want to do with it.
Hmm.
And you say there are 80 now, Commissioner?
That's the report that we got.
Say that again.
Yes, that was the information that we were provided recently.
Okay. 80 per square mile.
I guess I want to ask what agenda would we have to inflate those numbers? I don't understand.
Well, they wanted, the issue was they wanted to buy into this exponential growth thing. Which would mean if it was an actual fact, the deer population is growing year by year. Want to tell you, my first degree was in zoology, and I've got a number of degrees in biology. There is no such thing as exponential growth in any animal population on the planet. That does not happen. It can be induced artificially in a petri dish with an initial inoculation, but that's extremely brief. That would not last. There is no such thing as exponential growth in any animal population, deer, human, anything, okay? So.
No, no one's arguing that point.
Good, good. See, Craig B. Swoopy's idea here, why he was here, was to sell his program. And he thought he had willing people in the commission, so he was going to say what they wanted to hear. And it actually worked. We went on to have 2 killing years with the USDA. And they were all out killers. They're just fantastic people. They use bait traps, as I recall, field corn and Macintosh apples placed in certain areas where they wanted to attract the deer so they could kill them later. That's highly illegal for hunting, by the way. So, oh, and one other thing, unless you want to throw me out of here, Mr. Flynn, you complained that I was never available to discuss this. I want to tell you, I am available at any time if you folks want to talk about things. But I have to tell you, you're not gonna like it because I tell the truth and we have 20 years of research to back it up. Okay, what is that?
That is.
Commissioner,
our
that's-
Commission president who's under the weather.
All right, anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calhoun.
Good now, see you next week.
Joanne Fetch, am I pronouncing that correctly? Fetchy, Joanne Fetchy, thank you. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for this opportunity to come up and talk with you. I emailed all of you in March about the construction project on Parkway Drive, 250 Parkway Drive, and the impact it is having on our neighborhood. And I'm not coming up here just to complain, but really out of concern, because this has just been a nightmare to live through. And I really think that these rebuilds are going to become more common. And I think that some things need to be put in place to protect the residents who border the construction projects. In my email of March, I outlined difficulties that we were having last fall and steps that I had tried to take with the permit office, with the workers, with the David and Donna Gerson, who are the property owners of the site. And so Anne had responded to that and mentioned that the project was supposed to be completed by June 21st, a month ago. It is nowhere near completed. And the builder is telling me that it's going to not be done till about October. So these pictures that I have for you, the first one is, I mentioned in my email that we were victims of a hit and run and had to have a car door replaced. My family has been living on Parkway since 1960. There's never been anything like that happen. And we have these huge vehicles on our street all the time. So I can't say with 100% certainty it was a result of this project, but I think that it is. The second picture, I have some notes here to keep myself on track. The second picture is from April 29th of this year. And this is men who have horses set up in the street in front of our house, cutting large sheets of metal right in front of one of our cars. I went out and asked them to please be sure that they didn't hit our car with the metal, and they didn't speak English, which is fine, but it was hard for me to express my concern to them. The second picture, okay, that's the second one. The picture number 3 is taken from our driveway, and you can see how close the truck parks to the edge of our driveway. And the fourth picture is a view from my driver's seat. That was as I was trying to pull out of my driveway. My view of the street is completely blocked. I'm pulling out blind. And I can't tell you how many times I have almost been hit by a car coming down the street that I could not see. You know, thankfully, one of our cars has alarms that goes off and sounds when there's something behind us, which has helped a lot. Number 5 with the red pickup truck, that was taken this morning. So I just want to show you that this is a constant, an ongoing problem. It's not just one day here or there. This is happening all the time. The only way to avoid the difficulty in pulling out of our driveway is for my husband and I to pull our cars out before 6:45 a.m. The workers start coming actually at 6:15. So if we are out by 6:45 with our cars on the street, then we don't have to worry about pulling out of the driveway. We're already out, but then we worry about getting sideswiped. It's really a difficult situation. If we don't have our cars on the street by 7 a.m., then there's no parking. I took account of the vehicles on the street today. In a span of 9 houses, there were 17 vehicles. This was a light day. If we have someone coming to visit us, we have to be creative and about providing parking spaces. We've even put chairs out on the street, you know, in true Pittsburgh fashion. With conflict resolution, we're to go to the person we're at odds with, and I have tried to do that. The builder has told me that he's in constant contact with Mount Lebanon. They're following all the codes. One worker I talked to said to me, I'm parked here legally. I can do whatever I want. Leave me alone, expletive. So I'm not trying to go to the source anymore because I don't want to get into that kind of conversations. So this is our experience. We're 2 doors down from the construction. Oh, I didn't get to talk about the workers hanging out in our front yard every day. You know, and they're not trespassing because they're hanging out between the sidewalk and the street. But they're in my front yard. You know, that shouldn't be. But we have no recourse as residents. We're told they're not doing anything illegal. This is so intrusive. And I don't know if you've heard from any of the other neighbors from Parkway Drive, but I can assure you that I am not the only one who's bothered by what's going on. And I really, you know, it's outside of my comfort zone to come up here. But I admire the Girl Scouts and what they're doing. You know, recycle bins are so important. And this is kind of along that same line. We want our community to be a healthy one. And what's going on Parkway Drive is not healthy at all. Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Joanne.
I do want to just add a small thing, really. Keith and Rudy and I are all very, not Rodney, Keith and I are all very aware of this issue. In fact, I drive by that construction site no less than 2 times a week to see what kind of progress has been made. I don't know the resolution to having this not continue. I know that we have building inspections going down on a very regular basis now, urging and pushing the contractor to move the project forward as quickly as humanly possible. I haven't heard an October date. The last date that we had heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, was mid-August, I think was the last thing that most recent update we had gotten on when it would be complete.
That's correct. And that actually came from Josh Meyer, who's had most direct contact with
Right.
the contractor. And he had indicated that the property owners anticipated moving into the structure in mid-August, which would
Right.
mean it was substantially complete. But
Mhm.
I have already sent an email to Josh to pay a visit to the site tomorrow and get an update for the entire commission. And then communicate again very strongly that the project needs to be sort of buttoned up and they need to move to the interior so that the impacts to the abutting property owners are not.
I drove by yesterday and all the brick facing was on except for about a quarter of it on one side of the house. But what would really help, and this was not really my suggestion, this is something that Josh asked the contractor to do, would be to put the driveway in so that the trucks could be moved onto the driveway. Right now, everything is all over the street because the driveway's not in. None of that, they're using the front yard as a work area, which I guess beats using the neighbors' yards as work area, but is still really intrusive to the neighbors. So I don't have a good answer for this one.
I'll make sure that we stay on top of it.
Yeah, no, I know you have been. We have been staying on top of it. It's a difficult thing. How do you, there have been, and there continue to be shortages of materials and other things. We've seen this on other sites in Mount Lebanon. I can think of one other in Ward 3 that was held up with a number of delays of materials, et cetera. it's difficult. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for how you rush something like this along, is what I was saying. I think that building inspections is going above and beyond in trying to remedy this situation for the neighbors, because it's very difficult.
I understand that not much may be able to be done about this project, but I'm also concerned about future projects. A house sold on our street and all the neighbors were just terrified that it was going to be torn down and we were going to continue to live through this with another project. So it's not just this one I'm concerned about, but moving forward as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone online for public comment?
Nobody has their hand raised.
Thank you, Nick. That wraps up public comments. Commissioner Flynn, item number 3, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Consideration of the minutes of the adjourned meeting held June 25th, 2024. I move to approve said minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Commissioner Siegler, item number 4, please.
Thanks, Mr. Vice President. Consideration for the award of the Mount Lebanon Public Safety Center roof replacement rebid contract. Bids were received on June 11th, 2024 for the Mount Lebanon Public Safety Center roof replacement rebid contract. The project involves removal and replacement of its existing EPDM roof system with new TPO roof membrane system, installation of insulation, and replacement of roof coping and flashing at the Mount Lebanon Public Safety Center. An additional alternate price for gutter repair work was also solicited. The municipal engineer has verified the bids as follows. You can see those bids on our right and your left. The municipal engineer has reviewed the bids and determined the low bid to be accurate. The engineer recommends the project be awarded to Pennsylvania Roof Systems, Inc. The contractor has completed other similar and larger projects in the past in a satisfactory manner for Mount Lebanon and other entities. The budget for the project is $305,780. The project is within the budget and is to be funded through the capital fund. Mr. Vice President, I move to award the base bid for the Mount Lebanon Public Safety Center roof replacement rebid contract to Pennsylvania Roof Systems, Inc. in the amount of $191,457.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none.
It's in under budget by over $100,000.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Great. Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. Commissioner Flynn, item number 5, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Consideration of the expenditure list for June. I move to approve the expenditure list for June totaling $3,689,032.29.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. Motion passes. Thank you. Commissioner Silverman, item number 6, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Departmental reports. I ask that the reports be received and filed.
And they shall be. We are adjourned.